So I just pulled up to the bondsman's place. I'm an hour early, and just thinking about things, I feel like I should feel nervous, but I'm not really nervous. Normally, I'd be nervous as hell. So here's where we are up to this point. Um, Tiffany knows, and I know our love for each other big time. Like, we would look into each other's eyes and just everything else disappeared, and we would tell each other, I can see your soul, and we totally could. Her and I both had some issues happen to us when we were kids, and we never dealt with them. They were never dealt with for whatever reasons our parents didn't have them dealt with. And for my parents didn't know that I was molested by family members, and that I went through a lot of stuff. So, when these types of things happen, if we don't deal with them, we bury them down deep inside, and it causes us to act in ways that, is not normal. And so 3 weeks ago, this Sunday, it would be 3 weeks, Tiffany and I were in San Antonio, and we got into an argument because I was I was being rude. I didn't yell or anything, but I said some rude things that I knew would piss her off. And I had been doing really good the last couple of years, being very calm with things, and a few times that I have lashed out, but obviously I still needed a lot of work, and I stopped working on myself. So I got rude, and I had never seen Tiffany act in a way that she acted, but she totally blew up, and she didn't even realize who she was that night, because it wasn't her. Anyway, I ended up calling hotel security and asked them to call the police, thinking it would calm her down, and it made her worse. It became very heated. It got a little physical, where she attacked me, big time attacked me, and I did. I threw her onto the bed. I went and opened up the door, because by that time security was there in the front office. And long story short, I'm getting blamed for choking her, which did not happen 100%. I can look at you 100% and tell you that's the truth. I know that sometimes we exaggerate things. We're embarrassed about things, and that's part of how we grow up. Like Tiffany grew up that, bad things don't happen to our family because we're this religion or that religion. And, it is what it is. My attorney told me he knows that he believes me, which he should, because I'm telling the truth. The bondsman said the same thing. He's like, 1 out of 10 to 20 people are telling the truth, and we can tell that you're one of those ones. And I told him, I'm not perfect. I did shove her onto the bed, and hotel security did not hear me scream, yell. It was her that was screaming and yelling, but yet it got turned around on me. Apparently the police, got this going when they interviewed her. I waited for about 15 minutes. The police still hadn't shown up. And I was asked to leave by Tiffany to get the hell out of there, this and that, we're done, whatever. And I knew she was angry. I knew that if I did stay, because I called the police and I had a black eye, she would have went to jail that night, and that would have messed up her medical license she just got. And so I didn't want that to happen, because I know she worked hard for that. And so now, I've had to come up with thousands of dollars to take care of this legal matter. And, before, I would have probably been super angry, pissed off, blaming her. But I honestly believe, from what I have learned in the past and what the last 3 weeks I've been in intensive therapy and coaching, this is something that had to happen to wake us both up. It had to wake me up to realize that I can never stop working on myself, okay? And that I still needed to deal with some things that were bothering me deep inside. The other thing is that it needed to be a wake-up call to Tiffany, because she has never, ever dealt with things that happened to her. And one of my main complaints about our relationship is there's no communication. At first, it was terrible communication, because I didn't know how to communicate. She didn't communicate, and that was two wrongs not making any right. And as I went through therapy for about 6 months or so, I learned to communicate a whole hell of a lot better, but still needed a lot of work. And I know that this is a wake-up call, that she needs to deal with things inside herself, and that she needs to learn that it's okay to take responsibility. And once that happens, I believe it's happened, but once it does or did, amazing things change for us. So the point is getting to the point where none of this type of stuff, legal matters or heated arguments, have to happen. The point is to be able to help anybody watching this to realize that, first, when you realize that you have a problem, that you need to deal with it. Second, that that we need to communicate, not just about mundane everyday things, but we need to communicate about things that, you know, are meat and potatoes, so to speak. So anyway, I'm here at the bail bonds place. You know, I don't anticipate any jail time because that's what I was told. Normally you get arrested when you have a warrant, you get arrested, and then this is what I found out. And then you go, you can't have a bond drawn up until you've been processed through the jail system, and then you see a magistrate, and then you get a bond. I'm going straight to see a magistrate. So I know this is all working out for the better. There's always a bright side, and I'm looking forward to helping as many people as I can by my story. My story is not the worst, but I know my story is probably pretty common, especially with a lot of guys who don't know how to communicate and who don't know how to find other avenues to, you know, feel good and proud about themselves, so that they don't feel insecure, so that they can trust themselves and trust others. And, you know, anyway, this is the beginning of an amazing journey, and I hope that you continue to follow me on it.